It's something I want to share with you. When I was taking private lessons on bass regularly, and also when I went to college, one of the questions that I would have is like, when am I ready to move on to the next thing? And the next thing could be an increase in tempo, a key change, or when I was ready to move on from whatever concept that I was working on at the time. And I have 4 questions that I want to throw at you that you can use as a sort of a test to see when you are ready to move on to the next thing. If we haven't met yet, my name is Ted and I talk bass. I specialize in taking those abstract, more complicated ideas about music and the bass guitar in particular and make them more accessible for players just like yourself, help you scroll less and play more. The first question you should ask yourself is, can you play it? Now, this seems obvious, of course, but I think this is, often overlooked. So can you play a concept or an idea multiple times without making a mistake? So for instance, when I was going over material for recitals, one of the things that I would do is say, okay, here's this passage. Can I play this passage 7 times, at least 7 times, without making a mistake before I increase the tempo or move to the next section? And then what I would do is I would see if I could play it 7 times. And if I messed up on the 7th time, I would have to start over again because the goal was to play it 7 times in a row. So the first question you ask yourself is, can you play whatever it is you're trying to play? Can you play it consistently? Can you walk away, come back to it, and play it? The next question I would ask is, can you hear it? Can you hear when you've played a note out of context? Now, I know there's been a lot of talk lately about right and wrong notes, but I think context is key. So you got to ask yourself, if you're playing something in C and you play an F sharp, well, can you get back to the right note? Can you hear that you've played a note out of context? The next question is, can you see it? Can you visualize that pattern, that scale, a note on your neck, even when you don't have your instrument in your hands? That is, these last 2 questions, that being one of them, is, that's going to come at different times for different people, but being able to visualize things on the neck, even when the instrument isn't there, is important. This is another one that comes different times for different people, but can you explain a concept that you've played on your instrument succinctly? I have to reiterate, this comes at different times for different people, but can you explain, hey, I use this fingering, I'm in this mode, which happens to be in this key. Can you talk about the rhythmic elements of it? Can you talk about the melodic or harmonic elements of that thing? I think these 4 questions are a really good litmus test for, whether or not you're ready to move on to the next difficulty level. So I've started my own membership where I put things that I can't put on YouTube. I put them over there. It's called Groove School. And I am building the plane as I fly it. I'm a one-man team. When you have a question, when you have a comment, you don't hear from my team, you hear from me directly, so you get me directly. It is linked below this video and you can get a 10-day free trial. I know the folks that come to watch my videos on YouTube, and you want to play. You want to play the bass. You don't want to be, a theory whiz and all this stuff, man. It's all, just like language. And so I'm breaking it down in that way. Every song or groove that you learn has some sort of a theory or technique lesson built right into it. And so I use a song first approach to teach the electric bass so that you can play with more confidence at those jam sessions, your worship service, or if you just want to be able to learn songs faster and more efficiently by ear without relying so much on tab. So if you want to check out your 10-day free trial, that's linked below. If you want to stick around here and you're not subscribed, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. But use those questions the next time you are working on learning a song. I want you to ask yourself those 4 questions. Can you play it consistently? Can you hear it? Can you see it? And can you explain it? If you've got a good handle on all 4 of those things, then you're ready to move on to whatever the next difficulty level is. I appreciate you watching the video. Again, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and meet me over at the Groove School. Until then, peace.